24-minute segments, and then I'll answer more questions. So whatever platform you're on, just type in any health questions you have. I'm happy to answer those questions for you. What you want to do is if you're listening live, please put in hashtag live right now. If you're listening on a replay, put in hashtag replay. It is now 1 o'clock Eastern Time, March 18th, 2024. So if it's not that time right now for you, we want to go ahead and put in hashtag replay. So that's it. We're ready to go? All right. Garrett and John are checking on Instagram, so hold on 1 second. It's acting up, giving us trouble. Why won't it go live? It's so strange. I don't know. Yes, maybe? It's spinning. It's spinning and spinning and spinning. I knew exactly. There we go. All right. Welcome, Instagram. We had a little trouble getting hooked up to you guys. So, all right. We are ready to start. Ready to go?
Yep.
My timer? Got a big timer behind me, by the way, in case you're wondering why we do this. We have to sync my sound to the video. That's why we do this. Hey, folks. Dr. Joe Esposito here. I am glad you're with us today. So we're going to talk today about the most searched health questions on Google or whatever platform you're using. Now, all of you, at some point, have sat home and you had a little rash or you had a little pimple or a little bump or a little pain, and what'd you do? You went to the search engines, typed in what it was, and you played Dr. Search Engine. I understand that. We've all done it. So I did that for you today, and we're going to find the top things that are searched. Now, a couple of years ago, I was invited to be on a Dr. Oz show, and it was really a great experience, a lot of fun. And he called into one of my shows that I was on afterwards, and he essentially said, Joe's encyclopedia, his encyclopedic knowledge, essentially, since I met Joe, I don't use Google anymore. I just ask Joe questions. So I'm going to play Dr. Search Engine today. I'm going to answer some of those questions for you. So number one question, well, that came up actually, was how do I lose weight? And so there's so many things on the internet right now. There's high protein, there's low protein, there's plant-based, there's high carb, low carb, fat, no fat, what kind of fats, intermittent fasting, more fasting, body cleansing, laxatives, and it's crazy. But what happens is when you eat food, there's a part of your brain called the nucleus accumbens, and it releases dopamine. In fact, they just recently found some taste buds in the back of your tongue that when they're stimulated with sugar, instantly start releasing dopamine. Now, dopamine is a neurotransmitter that gives you pleasure. You're getting high from it. So when you eat bread, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, sugar, ice cream, it's not that you like bread or sugars or cakes, whatever it is. You're getting high from eating these foods. And when you get high, you want more. Now, I'm as guilty as anyone else. My brain works just like yours. If I have a piece of bread, I want more bread. I've told this story a while ago. I don't know if I've told it in a while. I was in New York one time, and I found a place that had vegan bagels. Now, I grew up right outside New York in New Jersey, and I had the bagel, and it was spectacular. It was just wonderful. The rest of my trip there, I kept thinking, when can I get another bagel? When can I get another bagel? I was getting high from it. Now, there's also a chemical that's found in gluten, which is found in wheat, barley, and rye. It's gliadin and glutenin, and there's a chemical in there that actually attaches to the morphine receptor sites in your brain. So when you eat bread specifically, you really get high because you get the sugar reaction and you get this morphine-like compound. Same thing with dairy products. People tell me all the time, Dr. Joe, I love cheese. I could never give up cheese. You don't love cheese. You love what's called the casomorphine that's found in cheese that attaches to the morphine receptor sites in your brain, and you're getting high. So, hate to burst your bubble, folks, but it's not the cheese and the bread that you like. It's the morphine-like compounds in there that are getting you high. And the sugar, of course, releases the dopamine as well. So we have to look at that and say, okay, I have to not have a little bit of the things that stimulate my pleasure centers, because if I do, I want more. Alcohol does the same thing. So you have to cut out the foods that you can't control yourself with. And you know what those are. I don't have to tell you. Can you have a scoop of ice cream and walk away? Ice cream's not a big problem. Can you have a piece of cheese and walk away? Well, cheese is probably not the problem then. In most cases it is. Now, dairy products have this casomorphine in it in milk, but when we concentrate the milk down to make cheese, take out the water, we concentrate those casomorphines, and you're getting high. So losing weight is not about your stomach. your belly, your liver. It's really about your brain and getting that brain to say, stop getting me high. So one of the rules I have, and I used to be overweight, one of the rules I have is can't have bad food in the house, because if it's in the house, I'm going to eat it. Now, I don't eat any animal products at all, including dairy, but dairy, gluten, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas. So dairy and wheat are going to be the two biggies that you have to get out of the house, because if you have a piece, you're going to want more. It's just how the brain works. So we have to get those bad foods out of the house. Number two, many times when you're hungry, you're not hungry, you're thirsty. When you were an infant, there was a part of your brain that controlled hunger and a part of your brain that controlled thirst. As you became a toddler, those two parts of the brain grew together. So you have a real tough time distinguishing between hunger and thirst. So many times when you're hungry, you're not hungry, you're thirsty. So here's my rule on weight loss. You have to have an 8 to 10 ounce glass of water about 10 minutes before whenever you eat anything. I don't care if it's a snack. I don't care if it's a meal. Before you put any food in your mouth, 8 to 10 ounce glass of water, about 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes if you want to be really good at this. And watch what happens. Your cravings are going to go away so quickly. Now, another thing, if you're craving sugar, what you want to do is you want to have something tart. Because when you eat something tart, like vinegar, lemons, for example, it can break that sugar craving. And I talk about this many times on different shows. And people come up to me afterwards and say, oh my God, that worked. I have a pickle now before every meal. And I don't crave dessert anymore. I have a pickle before I had those cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, or bread. And my craving went away. So if you drink the water, eat something sour or tart, you'll be fascinated how much less you eat. The other thing is this. It takes 20 minutes to get the message from your stomach to your brain. Now, your stomach, when you eat food, releases a chemical called leptin. It's a hormone. Leptin goes up into the hypothalamus in the brain and says, I'm full, stop eating. If you eat nonstop for 20 minutes, you'll be full. If you have a snack, wait 20 minutes, you'll be amazed how much less food you eat. Because the message is the leptin is going to be released from the stomach into the brain, into the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus says stop eating, and you're going to make better decisions. So if you're somebody who can't control their eating, I want you to have a snack 20 minutes before your meal. Now, what could that snack consist of? How about an avocado? I just did a social media post on how to make avocado toast. It's real easy. It's avocado and it's toast. So it's not hard. Now, you want to eat breads that don't have a lot of gluten in them. So gluten-free bread, if you're going to eat bread, is a better choice. Ezekiel bread. Ezekiel bread is sprouted wheat. And when we sprout it, it appears that we break down that gluten. And so Ezekiel bread or sprouted bread would be a better choice, too. Make sure it's organic. And if you take a piece of toast, put some avocado on it, and instead of using mayonnaise or something heavy fat like that, because the avocado is loaded with fat, I use balsamic vinegar glaze. It's a thickened balsamic vinegar, and I use organic, and I spread it on there, and it's sweeter because I personally don't like tart foods. I don't like lemons and vinegars. I'll do them. I don't like them. So the other thing, if you're going to do something like that, an avocado with balsamic vinegar, the vinegar has something in it called acetic acid. Acetic acid stabilizes your blood sugar and controls hunger. So an ideal snack 20 minutes before your meal would be something fatty. Nuts might be a good idea, a handful or two. That's all. You're not making a meal of it. Remember, you're just having a snack. Half an avocado, drizzle on some vinegar if you like it. I like the glaze because it's not as vinegary. But the acetic acid stabilizes blood sugar. So what I just taught you in the past 5 minutes is not what to eat, but how to eat when it comes to obesity. Getting the bad foods out of the house, especially the wheats and the dairy products, because they have those morphine-like chemicals that get you high. Drinking a lot of water, because many times you're not hungry or thirsty. Doing something, have a snack before a meal, and an avocado is the ideal snack. Even half an avocado. You don't even have to have a whole avocado is a meal to me. I'm done if I eat a whole avocado. Use some vinegar on top of it to stabilize that blood sugar. And if you do just those things and nothing else, you'll be amazed. The other thing you can do is something called intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting, there's different ways to do it, but at least don't eat for 12 hours a day. So if I have dinner at 6 o'clock at night, I can't have breakfast till 6 o'clock in the morning. That's the minimum intermittent fasting you should do every day. Now, if you want to go further, if you start going to 12, from 12 hours to 14 to 16 hours, you start producing something called human growth hormone, which actually can build muscle mass. You start metabolizing fat more efficiently, breaking down your glycogen and then your fat to be used as fuel. So the longer you go, the better to a point. Now, you don't want to do too much fasting. You don't want to fast, 3 days every week, because it turns out now that can be stressful on the body. It can release cortisol, and cortisol is your stress hormone. A little bit of cortisol is good, but regular stress on the body may not be the best thing for you. So that's why 12 to 16 hours daily fasting most days is going to be the best thing you can do. And studies have shown that if you do intermittent fasting, even if you don't change what you eat in that concentrated time that you are eating, you're still likely to lose weight. But the nice part is when you start intermittent fasting, you eat less. You feel better. Just like working out. When I work out, I'm not hungry. When I don't work out, I'm very hungry. So there's a lot of tricks that you can do to help yourself lose weight, aside from just cutting back on calories. Because cutting back on calories is usually temporary. I'm going to cut out, I'm going to cut out sweets for Lent, whatever it is. And then you go right back to where you were. This becomes a lifestyle, and that's the difference. Now, on our website, drjoe.com, we have a wonderful jumpstart program. It's called the 21-Day Detox. And what it is you take certain supplements, you take protein shakes, you eat food, but you only eat food from this one list of foods. And it's plenty of foods, by the way. And everyone that's ever done it, everyone, comes back to me and says, I have control of my life again. I'm not led by food. I'm not controlled by food. Thank you. And many of them say, can I keep doing this? Can I continue on past 21 days? The answer is yes, by the way. So it works really well. So if you go to my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com, type in 21-day, and you'll see that protocol. What's interesting about the protocol and the supplement protocol is that you'll actually save money. Because the money you spend on the supplements, you're going to save way more than that on getting rid of the bad food in your life. Bad food's very expensive. Fast food used to be cheap. Fast food's expensive now. I mean, I used to go, I remember back in college, you stop in one of those taco joints and you get, 50-cent tacos or 50-cent burritos. You'd eat 2 or 3 of them. Not saying they were healthy, but you ate them. You'd order a pizza, eat the pizza. Now it's much as a sit-down meal. So it's crazy. And one of the things you can do to lose weight and save money and be healthier is just eat at home. I mean, I go to restaurants now and it's insane. You can't get out of there if you're eating very healthy, which is very cheap, $20 a person. It used to be $8 a person, $10 a person, not that long ago. So it's very expensive. And a lot of the finance gurus will even tell you, if you want to save money, stop eating out. It gets very expensive. Folks, if you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. I'm answering the top searched questions on search engines when it comes to health. One of the big ones is back pain. So if you have back pain, the number one cause of back pain is pinched nerves. The number one treatment for back pain is chiropractic care. Chiropractic care is the most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain. So, I'm a logical thinker. Why wouldn't you do the most effective, least expensive thing of anything if it's going to be the most effective and least expensive? And chiropractic care is for that. So if you have back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, arm pain, numbness, tingling, muscle weakness, sciatica, come see us. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. I want to be your doctor. I want to help get you well and keep you well, without drugs and surgery if possible. Now, we have a medical doctor on our staff. If you need drugs and surgery, we have them there. Well, drugs anyway. We have drugs and injections available if we need them. But I want to get to the cause of your problem and not just treat the symptoms. So normally the first visit is $940. For my listeners, I've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment on the follow-up visit going over the x-rays, which is an extremely important visit, and a complete nutrition evaluation. If you come and see us, you want to see what we found. And then from there, if we recommend treatment, it's totally up to you what you want to do. But most people say yes because they want to get well. So just go to my website, drjoe.com, book an appointment right now. Come in, let's get you checked out. Stop suffering needlessly. I want to go back to weight loss for a second. Many times when you're hungry, you're not hungry for food, you're hungry for nutrition. And so many of us are just nutrition deficient. We have diseases of deficiency, which is caused by excess. Sounds silly. We eat too much of the bad food and not enough of the good food. So we're depleting our body of nutrients, and we're giving our body too much alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweeteners. So what do we do for that? Supplements work really well to make your brain say, I've got enough nutrients, I can stop. And so my minimum supplements I would recommend would be Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders. People ask me why are they in powder, because we get a lot more for the dollar. We can put them in a capsule. It's going to about triple the price. And everyone I've ever asked, are you willing to take the powders or pay 3 times as much? Everyone has said, I'll take the powders. So a scoop of Dr. Joe's Essential Source, a scoop of Dr. Joe's Super Greens, prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes, complete multivitamin, fruits and vegetables, iodine for your thyroid, chlorella to detoxify the liver, because a lot of times if you have a belly and you're not fat anywhere else, it's liver fat. If it's everywhere, it's body fat, but if it's just in the belly, like a beer belly, that's called visceral fat. And chlorella is great for cleaning out the liver as well. So that's the minimum supplements I think everybody should be taking every day. And it's the best bang for your buck you'll ever get when it comes to healthcare. So if you're serious about wanting to get well, at least get Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. I take vitamin D, unless I'm out in the sun a lot, which I'm usually not, unfortunately. Vitamin D, I take a B complex, a methylated B complex, so it's easily used by my body. I take adrenal support. I've done a whole nutrition workup on myself, so I know what I need. We'll do that for you too if you want to. So all the supplements are on the website, drjoe.com. We usually ship the next business day, sometimes the same day. So drjoe.com to make an appointment, drjoe.com for the supplements. It's in the store section. So if you're just tuning in, what I'm talking about today are the top searched health questions on the internet. So back pain, usually caused by a pinched nerve. And if you have a pinched nerve, what's the most logical thing to do? Unpinch it. Of course. So easy to consider that. I got a pinched nerve, unpinch it. And every day, patients come in our office, and they've been under, they've had medical care, they've had injections, they've had ablations, they've had physical therapy, they've had braces, they've had drugs, acupuncture. And when I explain to them that all that stuff is good, but if the bone is pinching the nerve, that should be step 1. And all of them go, I never thought of it like that before. Why didn't my other doctors tell me that? I don't know that. That's a rhetorical question. I don't have the answer for that. But chiropractic, most effective, least expensive treatment. Now, if the bones are out of place rubbing up against each other, another problem occurs. The discs and the joints wear out. That's called arthritis. Osteoarthritis is the joints rubbing up against each other, wearing out. Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease. That's different. But osteoarthritis is a mechanical problem. So if you have bones out of place, not only might you have pain, you always will have joints wear out, whether it's your foot, your knee, your spine, your hip, anywhere. The other thing that happens when the bones move out of place is they can pinch nerves that don't feel pain. 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. You can have a pinched nerve and not know it. So you want to find a doctor who's qualified to test the nerves that don't feel pain. I don't know of many. My team of doctors and I trained all my doctors on how to check nerves that don't feel pain. So if you want to come see us, we'd love to have you come see us, drjoe.com. We can book you an appointment. Now, we can also do virtual meetings. We can do a virtual consultation. I just got a question from somebody in Australia. Do you do virtual consultations? The answer is yes. So you can just call my office and or email my office. We'll get that set up for you. Now, along with chiropractic care, we have something called acoustic wave therapy. And just this week, had a patient come in, couldn't turn his shoulder at all. Basically, it was frozen shoulder. The doctors recommended surgery. He came to us as a last-ditch effort. He says, I'll give you a couple of visits. If it doesn't work, I'm having surgery. So he came in, we did chiropractic and adjusted, and we did the acoustic wave, which is sending really fast impulses into a joint, breaks up scar tissue, increases circulation, recruits stem cells, new cells into the area to help regenerate. And he looked at me and he says, Doc, 3 visits with chiropractic and acoustic wave, I have full range of motion back in my shoulder. He says, you just saved me about $100,000. I said, not a bad gig, is it? He goes, man, I like this place. So whether it's foot, plantar fasciitis, knee problems, we've saved countless patients from getting surgeries because we're able to break up the scar tissue, increase circulation in the area. So chiropractic care, nutrition, acoustic wave therapy. We can even use the acoustic wave therapy. It's also called shockwave therapy for erectile dysfunction. It can increase circulation to an area, grow new blood vessels. We open up the nerve supply from the low back into the organs. We give you home therapy to do, which is really important. And in most cases, along with supplements like nitric oxide to increase circulation to the body, people are really happy. So I don't know why this isn't the portal of entry. Hospitals, I got to save care. Insurance companies, got to reduce healthcare costs. Government, we got to reduce healthcare costs. I have a plan that works extremely well to reduce healthcare costs, safer than most things, and more effective. Why wouldn't we do that? Well, come see us, drjoe.com. I'd love to be your doctor. So we're talking today about the most searched health questions on the internet. And back pain, of course, is a biggie. Back pain, when I say back pain, leg pain, hip pain, knee pain, headaches, numbness, tingling, radiating pain, sciatica. Put the bone back in place, open up the nerve supply, increase the circulation to the area with supplements like nitric oxide, give your body the nutrients that it needs, and in many cases, we fix it without drugs, without surgery. Now, sometimes you need drugs and surgery. We have doctors available. I have a medical doctor on staff. We have surgeons on speed dial if we need them. We can refer you out if we need to. And if you're ever in a car accident, folks, if the car is damaged, you're damaged. I've never seen it any other way. So if the car is damaged, you need to come see us right away. You will get calls from scammers. Come see this doctor, come see this lawyer. Not only is it unethical, it's illegal. It's a felony. If they call you, they've broke the law. You cannot contact somebody unsolicited from a car accident. So if they do, it's a scam. Hang up, come see us. We'll get you doctors and lawyers that we know we can trust. So drjoe.com. So what we're talking about today are the most searched questions on the internet when it comes to healthcare. Headaches. What causes headaches? Number one cause of headaches, of course, is a pinched nerve. But also foods can cause headaches. Monosodium glutamate, aspartame. Aspartame, 18 side effects or 40 side effects. I can't remember how many side effects there are. Number one side effect of aspartame ingestion is headaches. Monosodium glutamate, Chinese food syndrome, right? Eat Chinese food, get a blazing headache. Aspartame and glutamic acid in large quantities are excitotoxins to the brain. They cause the brain to fire faster than they're supposed to and can literally burn out your brain cells. But notice when you get your headaches, and if you go to my website, drjoe.com, you could print up something called a diet diary. Print it up. It's free. I have no idea you printed it. It's on the website. I don't know who prints them. And start writing down everything you eat. Now, when I say everything, if you have a candy, if you have a sip of soda, anything, write it down. Medication. And then when you get a headache, write it in the margin. I got a headache today at 2 o'clock. I got a headache today at 5 o'clock. I woke up with it, whatever it is. And many times you or I can go back to your diet and say, there it is. Every time you have a diet soda, 2 hours later, you get a headache. Oh my gosh, you're right, Dr. Joe. I never thought about it. And when I say monosodium glutamate, it has over 40 different names. Autolyzed yeast, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, natural flavors can be autolyzed yeast, glutamic acid. You need some glutamate, but too much of it is toxic. If you're eating processed foods, packaged foods, chances are it has monosodium glutamate in it. Because glutamic acid stimulates something called the umami taste buds in your tongue, and it makes food taste better. It's a flavor enhancer, but it's very dangerous. So write down what you're eating. I've heard that the number one cause of headaches is dehydration. I think it's a pinched nerve from my research, but let's assume it's both. Make sure you're drinking enough water. Try to drink 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. You might be dehydrated. So do my experiment. Drink 6 to 8 glasses of water every day. See if you get a headache. After a couple of days, stop drinking the water. Go back to your old habits. See if you get a headache. So a lot of this sleuthing, this investigative work, you can do yourself. But if it is a pinched nerve, just come see us. We'll do an analysis for you. If you do want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. Normally, the first visit is $940. I've reduced that to $299 for my listeners, so just call up and make a new patient appointment. We accept insurances. If you're ever in a car accident, come see us immediately. Don't wait. Oh, I was a little stiff and then it went away. No, the damage is done, and it can take up to 6 months before pain shows up. The insurance companies are not going to follow up after 6 months. They're lucky. You're lucky you're going to follow up after a couple of weeks. So come see us right away. Follow me on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito. We post health tips every single day. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Every single day you get free health tips from me. And if you're a podcast junkie, go to Dr. Joe for the health of it and listen to our podcast. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We'll be right back. We have way too much information. That was 2 of, I think, 20 tips that I wrote up. So, you have questions?
Does intermittent fasting decrease the risk of type 2 diabetes?
Yes. Make sure you're eating enough food, though. Now, if you are diabetic, your blood sugar might crash. So you got to be careful with that. Monitor your blood sugar. But yes, the less glucose you give the body, the more sensitive the cells get. And type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance. You want to get insulin sensitivity. But if you start crashing really hard and you are diabetic, you may not be able to do 12 hours. You might want to be able to moderate that and then cut back a little at a time. So, also go to my website, drjoe.com, and type in diabetes. We did a real good show on that just recently. What else?
How do you know if your gallbladder is in distress?
You might have, whenever you eat fats, you might have really bad gas or burping, bloating, pain right over your liver. The liver's on the right side, so pain in that area. So if you have those symptoms, that could be the gallbladder. Now, many times I'll have patients with acid reflux, heartburn. They'll go to your doctor. Doctor says, it's your gallbladder. Let's remove your gallbladder. They pull out the gallbladder. That's forever. Now you can't digest fats properly. You increase your risk of heart disease, and the symptoms stay the same. It wasn't the gallbladder. It was the stomach. The stomach was pushed up against the diaphragm, and we gently pulled the stomach away from the diaphragm, and the problem went away. So they get mad because they had the gallbladder removed, and now they're in trouble. If you've had your gallbladder removed, you should take a supplement. We use a company called Colacol, and you can send me an email. I'll send you the link to it, and it's through the website, drjoe.com. Just it says contact us, and I'll reach out to you. But that's I think it should be the law. If you have your gallbladder removed, you have to take Colacol or a product like it to replace your bile that's been removed. So usually symptomatic-wise, you'll feel the pain, the gas, the bloating, but it could be your stomach too. So don't get your gallbladder removed until you get your stomach checked by us. What else?
My back and sides hurt. Should I go to the chiropractor again, or could it be something else?
Well, it could be something else, absolutely. But if you want to come see us, we can try to weed out what it is and what it's not. We'll try to do some differential diagnosis, we call it, to find out what's going on. So, what else?
That's it for now.
All right. Let's see. Where was I? All right. So we had weight loss, back pain, headaches. Okay, good. All right. I'm ready for part 2. Hey, folks. Dr. Joe Esposito here. If you're just joining us, welcome. If you stayed with us, glad you did. We're talking today about the most searched health questions on the internet. Because all of you have done this. You've played Dr. Internet, and you have a problem. You Google it or whatever search engine you use, and you say, oh my gosh, I'm dying. Especially if you go to WebMD, right? I love WebMD. It's a great website, but it's like everybody has cancer no matter what. So I'm answering those questions for you. I'm giving you a straight answer on what's going on. So we talked about weight loss earlier. We talked about headaches. We talked about back pain. The number one medication that patients come to me with is blood pressure medication. Number 2, diabetes and cholesterol are probably tied. So let's talk about what you can do naturally to help bring down your blood pressure. First of all, it could be that you're overweight. It could be your diet. Very common. But it could be a lot more than that. It could be a pinched nerve. There's a nerve that comes out of your skull on both sides called the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve controls your digestive system. It's a parasympathetic nerve. Now, there's 2 types of nerves in your body. Sympathetic nerves speed you up. Parasympathetic nerves slow you down. If the vagus nerve is being irritated or not functioning properly, it can affect the balance between the speed up and the slow down. And if it goes into the speed up, the sympathetic mode, it can increase your blood pressure. Pretty simple. That's why there have been many studies done on chiropractic care and adjusting the atlas, the top bone in the neck, and it has a positive impact on blood pressure because you're taking the pressure off the vagus nerve. You're unpinching the vagus nerve. If you have heartburn, acid reflux, burping, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, anything with the gut, that's a parasympathetic function. It's controlled by the enteric nervous system, which the master nerve to that is the vagus nerve. So if you have something going on in your gut, it could be irritating and causing the parasympathetic nervous system, the nervous system that slows you down, to malfunction. And if the parasympathetic nervous system malfunctions, the sympathetic nervous system can kind of take over. Again, this is simplified stuff, and it can make the blood pressure go up. That's why so many times, I can't imagine how many times in my career, patient came in with acid reflux or heartburn, and we are able to adjust or massage or pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. You can't do this yourself. Don't try. I've tried. You can't do it. Pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm, activate the parasympathetic nervous system, and suddenly the blood pressure drops. Naturally, without drugs, without surgery. So it's kind of cool. So we got to look at a physical reason or a neurological reason why you might have high blood pressure. Now, if you're 100 pounds overweight, you have a horrible diet, you drink and you smoke, you don't drink any water, I'm going to go with that. But I have a lot of people coming in, young people, thin people, in shape people with high blood pressure. And the medication will bring down the pressure, but it doesn't fix the cause. Not against medication. If you need to take medication, take it. But I want to find out why you have high blood pressure. And first, we check the nervous system, we check the spine and the vagus nerve, we check the digestive system to see if that's involved. And then we look at things like your diet, your age, and you might not be producing a gas in your blood vessels called nitric oxide. Nitric, not nitrous. Nitrous is the one dentist gives you to get you high. Nitric oxide relaxes the blood vessels and creates flexibility in the blood vessels. As we get older, our nitric oxide levels drop. It's part of life. Now, foods that can help increase nitric oxide would be things like arugula, beets, dark green leafy vegetables, watermelon. They have either nitrates or citrulline in it, which converts into nitric oxide. And that helps lower your blood pressure. It's also very important when it comes to romance, especially for men, but for women as well. You need blood supply. If you don't have the proper blood supply going into the organs, it's not going to work. And so we need to make sure you have the nitric oxide, and that's why I take Dr. Joe's nitric oxide support. It's a supplement. I take it every day. I have perfect blood pressure. I take it every day to increase circulation to my brain, my heart, my lungs, my reproductive organs, because as I'm getting older, my nitric oxide levels are lowering. It's part of the aging process. It's normal. And that's why so many men have romantic performance issues as they get older. It's a natural part of aging, guys. It's not a test of your manhood. It's a natural part of aging. But many times, not always, it's simply nitric oxide deficiency. So I tell men, take some nitric oxide. I take 4 of these a day, nitric oxide supplements. I take 4 a day, and if you're going to have romance, take it about an hour and a half before romance. And many men have come back to me and said, wow, thanks, doc. That was great. And if you take the little pills, little blue pills, they help with romantic issues. But about 50% of the time, they don't work. And the reason they don't work is you don't have enough nitric oxide. Well, if you have enough nitric oxide, you probably don't need a little blue pill. Oh, that's how that works. So nitric oxide is so important for blood pressure. And so that's why I take it every day. And I wish all doctors that dealt with blood pressure would tell patients, let's also, along with the other treatments, let's increase your nitric oxide levels and let's see what happens. And here's the nice part. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Oops. Didn't work. Bummer. There are side effects to medication. There's side effects to everything. But I love my nitric oxide support. It gives me so much energy. It gives me clarity of thought. It helps in so many different departments. So I would strongly advise, if you have high blood pressure, you cut out the bad foods. You know what foods you shouldn't eat, right? Alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener. Those are the 7, what I call the 7 deadly sins of nutrition. All of those can contribute to high blood pressure. Salt. If you're going to use salt, you want to use Celtic salt, air-dried sea salt. Real salt is a brand name. Those have over 70 minerals in it that are absolutely necessary for bodily function. It's a real cheap way to get a supplement. And it tastes good. Now, a trick that I've taught many people, in fact, I was just talking to a friend of mine who's a chiropractor, and you take real salt, Celtic salt, whatever it is, and you go to the grocery store and you get something called potassium chloride. Regular table salt is sodium chloride. This is potassium chloride. And you mix it about 2/3 salt, your regular salt, 1/3 potassium chloride. You're not going to notice a change in the flavor. But many of you have too much sodium and not enough potassium. Now you're giving yourself a potassium supplement, really cheap, every time you use your salt. And you're getting over 70 different minerals necessary for bodily function when you use the Celtic salt or real salt or air-dried sea salt. What a cute little trick. Real cheap, too. So now you're lowering the sodium, increasing the potassium, drinking more water. The more water you drink, the higher the volume is going to be, and it works better. But part of the aging process is your blood vessels become rigid. They just aren't opening and closing like they used to. And so we need to fix that. Nitric oxide can oftentimes help. It's my third favorite supplement. And I take it every day. And if you have normal or high blood pressure, take it. If you have low blood pressure, you got to be really careful because it can make the blood pressure lower. The other thing, too, if you're taking nitric oxide, monitor your blood pressure. Because if the blood pressure goes too low, you're on medication and nitric oxide supplements, you have to decide what you're going to do. Am I giving up my medication? Talk to your doctor first. Am I giving up my medication or am I giving up my nitric oxide supplement, which has all these benefits? Well, I think I know which way you're going to go. So blood pressure, really important. Nitric oxide supplements are key. Fruits, plant-based diet, key. Nervous system, key. So when the doctor says you have high blood pressure, don't take it as there's nothing I can do. There's a lot of things you can do proactively to help bring down that blood pressure. Fix the nervous system, fix the digestive system, which fixes the nervous system. Get more nitric oxide in your diet, less sodium, more potassium. I just gave you, in the past 5 minutes, more information on how to lower blood pressure naturally than you may have heard in your entire life. And they're all proactive steps. How cool is that? So again, I don't sell potassium chloride. You got to go to the grocery store and get it. Water, of course, that's up to you where you get your water from. I have a water filter in my house because tap water has fluorine, chlorine, and both of those are toxic, can be toxic to the thyroid, can affect the bacteria in your colon. So I have a whole house water filter. They're not cheap, a few $1,000s, but well worth it. Because every drop of water I shower in, I drink, I cook my food in, I wash my carrots in, every drop of water that comes in my house is filtered. It's amazing. And boy, when you start using filtered water, you can't do anything else. I went to a restaurant the other night, and it was a friend of mine, birthday, and it was a steakhouse, which I found funny. And they served water, and I tasted it. Boy, I could just taste the chlorine. And I thought, man, chlorine kills good bacteria as well as bad bacteria in your colon. Not a good idea, and it can block up your thyroid so you can't absorb iodine properly. It can affect the thyroid function. So not a fan. Same deal with fluorinated toothpaste. I do not ever recommend fluoride in your toothpaste. Fluoride is a neurotoxin. The only benefit they say it might have, and I'm not still convinced of this, is it might prevent cavities only if you put it on the teeth. If you drink it, it's not touching the teeth. How can it prevent cavities? It's a toxic chemical that should not be in our water system. So, drjoe.com. If you have questions, you can always send them through my website, drjoe.com. I know I'm throwing a lot out at you today. So blood pressure, usually a pretty simple thing to deal with through diet, through supplements, through chiropractic care if there's a neurological component. I would love to get you off your medication. I can't tell you to come off the medication. I can't recommend it. You have to go to your primary care doctor to get that done, but I want to give you all the tools that you can do to go to the doctor and say, hey, man, look at my blood pressure. It's down. Can I cut back my medication? And then the doctor says yes or no. But you make that decision, and it's pretty cool when you do these things. So that's why I love doing these shows, because we change people's lives every single day. Now, we talked about pinched nerves that could affect the blood pressure. If you want to make an appointment to come see us for us to check your pinched nerves, whether you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, 90% of nerves don't feel pain, so we can check the nerves that don't feel pain as well. Go to my website, drjoe.com. Normally, the first visit is $940. I've reduced that for you, my favorite listeners, to $299. Exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. I don't know anybody who's doing that at any price, much less $299. X-rays alone are going to cost you more than that anywhere else. So, drjoe.com. And then if you do need further care, we'll discuss it with you. On your second visit, we'll show you the x-rays, explain, yes, we think you need further care, no, you don't, and we'll go from there. So, drjoe.com. By the way, we have over 4,000 hours of content on the website. So feel free to search the website and type in whatever you're looking for. And then if you still have questions, send me a question through the website. I'm happy to answer it for you. drjoe.com. A little bot pops up and says, hey, you want to chat? Happy to answer your questions for you. But the best thing you can do for your health overall is come see us. drjoe.com. In the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb, we have offices. So just tuning in, we're answering the questions that you have searched on your search engine the most health search questions out there. And so we've covered a lot today so far. We got a lot more to cover. We covered how to lose weight. We covered blood pressure, headaches, back pain. I want to talk about anxiety and depression because it's very common. It's everywhere. And so many people have it and don't know what to do about it. Now, a lot of you might have it and not even realize you have it. So I want to quickly go through a list of symptoms that can be related to anxiety and depression that you might not realize are linked. The first one is pretty obvious, feeling sad or empty, mood changes, that can be an issue. Now, we're all sad sometimes. You know, the REM song, Everybody Hurts Sometimes. Absolutely true. Nobody, I don't care how good their Instagram page looks, I don't care how many posts they put on Facebook about what a great life they have, everybody has problems. Everybody gets sad sometimes. When you understand that it's temporary, it makes it a lot easier. Sometimes you can't understand that it's temporary. You might start feeling hopeless or helpless. Depression can make people feel that there's no foreseeable answer to this. I felt this way when my mother died. I understand that feeling. You know, what am I going to do without mom? Been years now. Still miss her. Still think about her many, many times a day. Same thing with my father. Still think about him many, many times a day. But the body adapts. Time does heal. You don't get over it. You get used to it. And that's a big difference when it comes to grief. You can get over it, like a relationship. Sometimes you get over it and go, I don't even remember going out with that person. But when it comes to real, true grief, you just get used to it. You can feel worthless. Please understand, nobody is worthless. And I know I can say that all day, but when you're feeling it's a big issue. I'm going to tell you what to do about this in just a second. Okay? You feel excessively guilty. You have no interest in pleasure and activities. As I get older, one of the things I have to do is make sure I force myself to socialize multiple times a week. Because I could easily go home and go, you know, I had a big day with radio, with podcasts, with patients. I could just go home and hang out. You could easily fall into that trap. So it's important, if you're starting to feel like you don't want to socialize, to force yourself to go socialize. I remember years ago, I played roller hockey, and I would just put on my skates and go down to a place called Piedmont Park, and I just skate around the park with my hockey stick and just skate around the park for a couple hours. And even if I didn't have anybody to talk to, at least I was socializing. I was hanging out with other people. Anger and irritability can be a sign of depression and anxiety. Feeling tired, lack of energy, insomnia, lack of sleep, difficulty concentrating, lack of appetite, overeating and weight gain or undereating and weight loss, and aches and pains and physical symptoms. Trouble switching off your brain. You lay in bed, your brain is racing. Now, all of these can be from other things too. They could be from a disease process. It could be from malnutrition. But these are very common signs and symptoms of depression. Now, what I found is that when I deal with depressed patients, or if I get sad or depressed, I think, is my brain getting the proper amount of nutrients? And if the answer is no, I got to say, what can I do to get the nutrients in my body? Because if I'm feeling down, I want to have comfort food, right? The sugars, the breads, the cookies, the cakes. Now, I'm vegan. I don't eat any animal products. I'm not asking you to do that. Don't worry. I wish you would, but if you don't, that's okay. I'm still going to be your friend, still going to treat you as a patient. And I catch myself. Okay, no, I'm craving the sugars. I'm craving those things to stimulate my dopamine release. Another quick way to get a dopamine release aside from that is do 10 squats. Now, if you can't do a full squat, do a half squat. If you can't do a half squat, just get up and down out of a chair 10 times. That alone will start to release dopamine in your brain. Any type of exercise is what I'm saying. Lifting, bending, squatting, those things will start to give you a dopamine release. Water is very important because the brain needs water to function properly. And many times if you're depressed, you're just dehydrated. And you need to get some hydration back into the body. We also have to look at your digestive system. Not only what you ingest, but what you digest. And so I found this on every patient I've ever treated in almost 40 years now that has any type of anxiety, depression, ADD, ADHD, anything emotional. There's a digestive component. Your stomach has one major job, and that job is to take proteins, Now, whether that protein comes from a steak or a carrot, protein looks like a ball of yarn under a microscope. You have stomach acids in your body, hydrochloric acid and pepsin, which converts it to pepsinogen, and it unravels the protein and chops it up into something called amino acids. Proteins are made up of amino acids. There's 20 amino acids that we use in a human diet. 9 of them you have to get from an outside source. They're called essential amino acids. The other 11 you can make from other materials inside your body. But when your stomach breaks down these proteins into amino acid, the amino acid named tryptophan becomes serotonin in your brain. It combines with vitamin B6 and creates 5-HTP, and 5-HTP becomes serotonin. Serotonin makes you happy. Now, if you're on depression medications, what we try to do with a lot of those drugs is we try to utilize a little bit of serotonin that we have. My approach, no, don't stop your medication. My approach is, can we make more serotonin? And many times the stomach is pushed up against the diaphragm. You're not breaking down proteins properly. So we take your stomach and we gently pull it down away from the diaphragm so you can start digesting proteins again. I get you on something called Dr. Joe's Digestive Enzymes, which helps break down proteins as well. And in many cases, solves the problem. Get you on vitamin B complex as well to get the B6. Because tryptophan, 5-HTP, tryptophan and B6 creates 5-HTP, creates serotonin, which creates melatonin. Melatonin helps you sleep. And when you sleep, the brain can heal. Did you follow all that? Tyrosine becomes dopamine. Dopamine gives you pleasure. Dopamine becomes norepinephrine, which gives you energy. So we have to make sure that we have enough amino acids, tyrosine, to create dopamine so that you can experience pleasure. If you can't, you can't. So again, exercise is a very good way to do it, but you have to have the raw materials to create those neurotransmitters. It's very, very important. So that's why one of the reasons I created Dr. Joe's Essential Source, actually, it's prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes, complete multivitamin, has B vitamins in it, raw fruits and vegetables in a powder form. That's the minimum supplements I think everybody should take every day. I mix that with Dr. Joe's Super Greens, which has chlorella and spirulina to give you omega-3 fatty acids for brain function, and chlorella to help detoxify the liver. And then also has iodine, which is vital for thyroid function. If your thyroid is low, that can create mood swings. So when I created Super Greens, an essential source, I said, what would be like the granddaddy of all supplements? If I had to do nothing else, if the world couldn't do any other supplements in the world, and I think you should do other ones, by the way, I created Super Greens, an essential source. So go to my website, drjoe.com. You can order them. We ship them the next day. In fact, if you're listening live for the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to have Dr. Joe's hemp Super Greens on sale, half off. Half price, folks. I don't know how else to make it easier for you. So drjoe.com, great source. We have a lot of other supplements there, too. When it comes to stress, I take adrenal support. I take omega-3 fatty acids for my brain. I take B complex every day. I take digestive enzymes, like I said, when I eat anything cooked. And everyone says this. If you eat foods that give you a lot of gas, let's say soups, lentils, split peas, broccoli, you take the digestive enzymes, the gas is substantially less because you're breaking down your food more efficiently. It may not be gone, but it's way better. And when you start to make the transition from the diet that most people eat into a more plant-based, healthy diet, many times you might have a little gas distress. That's just the body getting used to this new world. Things like Essential Source, which has digestive enzymes. I take Dr. Joe's digestive enzymes separately. It changes the world. When you start absorbing nutrients into the brain, I was at a party last Saturday night, birthday party for one of my coworkers, and somebody was there, and they didn't work at the radio station with us, and she said, your voice sounds just like that guy, Dr. Joe. And I said, yeah, that's me. And she was like, oh, my God, I listen to you all the time. You're so smart, and on and on and on and on. And her husband was there, and he was a former Marine and, big muscular guy, very handsome fella. And I was eating plants at the steakhouse. And he says, where do you get your protein? That's the number one question I get. It said the body only needs about 8% of its total caloric intake as protein. Anything beyond that is wasted. Most people get 25%, and that's a lot of strain on the kidneys and the liver. And I said, listen, I've been plant-based for 38 years now, and I said, I'm fine. I don't have a protein deficiency. And he said, so you were really young. when you turned vegan? I said, no, I was in my mid-20s. And he looked at me, and he looked at his wife, and he says, I thought you were my age. And he was about 15, 20 years younger than me. So this lifestyle really works. And if it didn't work, I wouldn't do it. I would do whatever works best. If it was meatball sandwiches on rye bread, that's what I'd be eating every day. I research every single day in health. And my goal is to share this knowledge with you so we can give you not only a longer life, but a better life and less expensive. That's what's so cool about this. So when I create my supplements, I think about how can I better serve you and really better serve me because I want to take them too. So all the supplements are on our website, drjoe.com. If you have any questions, send me a question through the website, drjoe.com. I'm happy to answer it for you, any health question. If I have an answer, I may not have an answer, but usually I do. And we'll try to get to the cause of your problems, not just treat the symptoms. If you have heartburn, acid reflux, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, nutrition concerns, make an appointment to come see us. drjoe.com. We can do it virtually as well, but I'd rather do it in person if we can. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. Normally, the first visit is $940. I've reduced that for you, my listeners, to $299. Now, I want you to follow me on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito. Do that right now, at Dr. Joe Esposito on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. That's what I'm asking you. I give you all this information as a gift. All you got to do is follow me for free. If you don't like it, unfollow me. It's very simple. We have a newsletter we send out. That's the elite group of people that really give the good information in a newsletter. It's absolutely free. We might send it out once, 2, 3 times a month. Just go to my website, drjoe.com, sign up for the newsletter. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. But my goal is to naturally get you well and keep you well. On your podcast service, go to Dr. Joe for the health of it. So I want to be your doctor. Send me your questions, drjoe.com. Folks, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time. All right. Didn't cover a fraction of what I wanted to. All right, what do you got?
Should someone drink 8 ounces of water every hour, then stop 12 hours during intermittent fasting?
No, you can drink water during intermittent fasting. That's not a problem. So you don't eat anything with calories. You can do intermittent fasting. And so even people, if they're intermittent fasting and they start feeling a little queasy or something, I'll recommend they take Super Greens and Essential Source during that time. But no, you should drink water. I have to stop drinking water about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Otherwise, I wake up and pee all night. But that's what happens when you get older. So, yeah, but drink the water as often as you can, even when you're fasting.
What are your thoughts on allulose, positive or negative?
It's okay. What else?
I am 25 years old and I have low iron. What should I do?
Okay. There's 2 types of iron, heme and non-heme iron. Heme iron comes from animals. Heme, like hemoglobin, comes from animal blood. It's absorbed pretty easily. I don't recommend that because of all the downside that comes with eating animal blood. Blood is the purification system in the body, so I don't recommend that. Non-heme iron comes from plants. It doesn't absorb very well unless you have vitamin C with it. The nice part is nature puts non-heme iron with foods that have vitamin C in it. So anything red and anything green is going to be a good source of iron. Super Greens, an essential source. Red beans, pinto beans, rhubarb, any green leafy vegetable, watermelon, cherries, strawberries. These are all very good sources of iron. Now, assuming, I'm going to guess you're a woman. I'm going out on a limb here. If you're a woman, women need to replace their iron on a regular basis because you have menstrual cycles and you lose iron every month. So eating a good green and red diet is going to be very, very helpful. If it's not enough, try it for a month or 2. If it's not enough, email me. And I don't have an iron supplement necessarily, but I can recommend some plant-based iron supplements from other companies. I'm happy to do that for you. But eating more green and red foods is going to solve a lot of those problems. So, what else?
I had hysterectomy surgery 2 years ago because of endometriosis. What is the best vitamin that I should be taking?
Super Greens, an essential source, absolutely. Adrenal support, absolutely. B-complex, absolutely. Glutathione, absolutely. So it's more than just a supplement. So if you go to my website, drjoe.com, and type the words women's health issues in the search bar, I did a whole show on women's health issues, and that'll cover a lot of topics for you.
I've been reducing fried foods and substituting them for mac and cheese. Is that a better choice?
Sophie. I have to give you Sophie's choice here, right? Which one do I decide? Wow. Yeah, it's probably a better choice. God, I hate to say that out loud. I'll negotiate with you because I negotiate with everybody when it comes to health. Try some plant-based mac and cheeses. Some of them you like, some of them taste like crud. I'm not going to lie to you. But try some vegan mac and cheeses and see if you can find a better choice. And let's see if we would negotiate with me on that. Okay? Or look it up on the internet too.
Is it true that eating nuts before fruits and vegetables allows your body to absorb the nutrients better?
Well, the nuts have fats in them, and there's 4 nutrients that absorb well with fats, and that would be vitamin A, D, E, and K. Fruits don't have a lot of A, D, E, and K in them. Well, fruits might have A in it, yeah. But D, probably not a lot of. E, and nuts will have the E in it, actually. Vitamin K would be the vegetables more. So it probably is okay. I don't see a problem with it. I'm not sure it's really going to help the absorption that much. But no, but nuts are great. I eat them every day.
On that topic, almonds or walnuts?
Walnuts. Almonds are great, but you asked which is better. All right. What else?
Do you accept ideas for any of your podcasts?
Sure. I'm always open to ideas. It's how I learn.
How do you decide what topics to do shows on?
How do I decide what topics to do shows on? People ask me that all the time. I get that question about 8 or 10 times a week. In my office, I have a stack of research of all different titles, topics. I'll pull it off the internet if I see an article that I like. And at the beginning of the week, actually I usually book about 3 or 4 weeks in advance, I'll go through the list and I'll say, what haven't I covered? What's hot this week? What's big in the news? What have I seen a lot of in practice? And then I kind of decide what direction to go in. So I don't have a formula. I just kind of see what's hot at that moment in time. And like today, we just said, Garrett's idea was, why don't we just see what people want you to talk about? And that's what I did. So, what else?
Any in-person events coming up?
Not that I know of. I got invited to a expo, the Whole Life Expo, a live expo, I think it's called. Past 4 years I went, there was like nobody there. It was dead. So I'm not sure I'm going to accept that one. So, but if you have a group or organization you want me to come speak to, let me know. I'm certainly open to doing more live events. I kind of got back into it a couple of weeks ago and I enjoyed it. I hadn't done it in about 4 years. So if you have a live event, I am going to be speaking in November at a continuing education program for a bunch of doctors. I'm going to be the guest speaker, but it's not open to the public, unfortunately. So, all right, what else?
That's all?
You guys rock. Thanks, guys. Please follow me on all platforms. I'm begging you. This is the only thing I ask of you. Up, Garrett, your hand is up. Yes, sir.
Real quick, is it okay to take turmeric with reflux?
Can you take turmeric with reflux? Yes, absolutely. But come see us so we can pull the stomach away from the diaphragm to fix the reflux. There you go. drjoe.com is the website. All platforms. Please do this as my favor. I'm not asking much from you guys. I ask for nothing from you guys except this. All platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, at Dr. Joe Esposito. Follow me, and if you're not even on the platform, you never have to go back and look again. If you don't like it, unfollow me. But that's my gift that I ask from you. All right, guys, I appreciate it. See you next time.